This is the easiest method to get the Sword of Light and Sword of Darkness in Shadow of the Erdtree. Each of them has a unique set of effects which are really cool, so you definitely don't want to miss them. So drop a like on the video and let's begin. To start with, teleport to the Gravesite Plain. Then hop on your horse and head in a northeasterly direction towards the marker area that I'm showing you on screen right now. You're going to be riding through a bunch of graves along a kind of cliffside here towards this little hut. And inside, it'll pop up saying it's the Run Down Traveler's Rest. Inside, there are 3 things you need to grab. 2 are furnace visages and 1 is a cookbook. Grab them all and then you're ready to leave this area. Now, in order to access the next location we need, you will need to have completed Castle Ensis. Or you could have gone around Castle Ensis from the castle front area, and the path that you need to follow to do that is exactly what I'm laying out on screen right now. I'm just going to be dropping these little waypoint markers so you can track all the way to the Fort of Reprimand, and then you're going to go up 2 wind vortexes into the Fort of Reprimand, and then loop around the back side of it, and that'll spit you out the back, and you'll be able to follow the path north to the area we need to go now, which is Morth Ruins. So whether or not you teleport there or ride over, that's fine. Once you get to Morth Ruins, you need to go underground using the route that I'm showing you on screen right now to get to Bonnie Village. It's essentially just a lot of pathing through loads of rubble, dropping down on these various platforms, and then you're going to path through this tunnel here, and that's going to lead to a ladder, which then brings you to Bonnie Village. Inside Bonnie Village, we're looking for 2 different items, so just follow exactly where I'm running on screen right now. You'll see the little marker here, and you'll be able to grab your first hefty cracked pot, and then you need to, again, follow where I'm riding and jump over this little gap and then head into this little shack, and you'll be able to grab a second hefty cracked pot. With those both picked up, it's nearly time to go to our next location, but before we go there, I want to make sure that you've got 2 items in your inventory that aren't hefty cracked pots, just to ensure that you're being time efficient. The first is a red flesh mushroom, and this is easily found everywhere in the Realm of Shadow, so it's basically everywhere. And the second is the Ember of Mesmer, which you can get in the approach to this next location that we need to path to now. So grab your red flesh from somewhere else, and then we're going to head north of Morth Ruins all the way up to the Shadow Keep. So on the way there, look out for Ember of Mesmer if you don't have any, but if you do have some and you also have the Shadow Keep unlocked, then you can just TP over to it. If you don't have the boss beaten here, you will have to beat the boss. Then you're going to go left from the boss arena and follow all the way up here, walking up all these stairs and then going into this building and basically just passing all the enemies. And then on the roof, take a right and keep running all the way across here past all these burning boats, and that's going to take you to a little gap on the left-hand side, which has a ladder next to it, and you can then go down it, go near the waterfall here, go down this second ladder, and that will take you to a room with a painting in it. When you see the painting, turn to your right and attack the wall here to reveal the pathway inside, and then start running through. You're going to head down this little slope, and then you're going to head into the coffin here, and then there's going to be a little cutscene, and that will port you over to Skadu Altus. When you get there, start riding forwards towards this downed giant thingy and steer yourself towards the left. It'll give you a pop-up for the ruins of Unti, and you need to do a little bit of parkour, horsing, or horse parkouring onto this balcony or this little platform, which gives you a nice view of the giant's forehead, head, cup, whatever that's called. With that in view, it's time to start crafting. So go to your item crafting. You need to tab over to throwing pots and then find the hefty furnace pot. And you'll see that requires red flesh, like I mentioned before, Ember of Mesmer, and the furnace visage that we picked up earlier. Craft one and then equip it to your equipment slots and then throw it at the head cup. Dude's gonna wake up straight away, and that's your cue to get the hell out of there. You're gonna wanna jump off the little balcony and get behind him ASAP so you don't have to fight him, and run in the gap that is left behind him in this little garden area. On the right side of it, you'll find an altar, and it's on that altar you can find the stone-sheathed sword, which we're about to transform twice to make it even more powerful. Now, for some of you that are familiar with how this quest works, you might be used to doing this in a different order, because there are other altars that we need to find for the remainder of this quest, and you can do those before this one that we've just done if you want. It's still going to give you the weapons in the same order, so you'll you'll still always get the lowest level stone sheathed sword first, and then the upgrades afterwards, but the order of the altars themselves can be whatever you choose. That's fine. I'm just showing you the order that I prefer doing it in. Also, while we're on the topic of pro tips, some of you might be wondering whether or not the sword will keep any upgrades you put on at the blacksmith as you go through these quest steps to transform it into sort of evolved versions of the weapon, and it will indeed keep those upgrades. So you can upgrade it right now, and then when we transform it in the future, it will keep the level that you've upgraded it to, so you won't have like wasted your resources or anything. With all of that said, we're going to teleport to the storehouse first floor inside the Shadow Keep, and when you get there, start following the path that I'm showing you here. We're going to go to the left-hand side, go through the archways, and then go down the lift. Then as soon as you get out of the lift, you're going to go to the right-hand side, watching out while you do that for this massive pot glob thingy, and then you're just going to want to dodge all the other enemies in these rooms. And as you do this, you'll be slowly making your way down and outside, and then you need to go through this tiny little archway, and you can hop on your horse on the bridge. Be careful, obviously, of the enemies that are there. You can probably just run past them. And then right at the end of the bridge, there's going to be one that's spawned in this archway. It's dead in my game, but it'll be there for you. But don't worry, you can still just run past it and then go through the archway, head to the right-hand side, and start climbing this staircase. That leads you to another lift, which you need to go up. And then at the top, there's a Site of Grace you can grab, and you can step out into the ancient ruins of Rao. Hop on your horse once again, head to the right-hand side, and follow the path I'm on here towards these two plinths. And that will lead you down underground, and you're going to want to path past all the enemies here because there are a fair few of them, and then drop into this hole. Now, try if you can to drop onto the left side of the hole because we need to go through these doors that are on the left side when we get down there, and you will need to open them, which takes a second, and then go through the doors, get back on your horse, and start pathing through once more. There'll be another hole in the ground just ahead of you, which you can hop down, and it's actually got a wind vortex inside it to kind of cushion your fall a little bit. And then you need to go forwards, hook a left, go forwards again, hook another left, and then keep going forwards under these arches towards the daylight in front of you. When you get outside, you're going to keep going forwards, and you'll see a kind of almost Colosseum looking thing on the right hand side. That can be a nice little landmark to use here. That is going to take you to a Site of Grace just on the front of this cliff. Then once you've grabbed it, you can head where I'm heading in the gameplay here towards this little bridge area, and then as you start to ride across that bridge, you'll notice that you can hop to the right hand side to keep progressing forwards, and then you need to just keep riding essentially towards this next giant. Be very wary of his slam attacks and his fire and all that stuff. Just hop back on your horse if you need to. You're basically heading behind him and to his left. It's a kind of southeasterly direction. And once you get out there onto the sort of cliff face once again, you'll find another Site of Grace. Tag it and then start riding under these arches, staying on the left-hand side while you do so. And then at the top of the stairs, you're going to take the right exit, and that's going to lead you to this little building, which you're going to run all the way past or ride all the way past through this next set of arches. And there's quite a lot of enemies in here as well with lots of different attacks, so be careful as you do so. And then take the left exit there and stand on this ledge. Now, it may not look like it, but there's actually an invisible bridge here, which you just need to full send all the way across, and you'll then be at your first of 2 special altars that you need for the quest. So examine it, raise the stone sheathed sword to the light, and that will transform your sword for the first time. You're going to get the Sword of Light now. It scales with faith, just like the final transformation of the sword that I'm going to show you in a moment here. But this is what the Sword of Light looks like, because you could, if you wanted, stop here. Like, if you really like the look of the abilities that I'm using here, which, like I said, you unlock by scaling it with faith, then you could just stop here. But what I would recommend is you progress with the quest regardless, because I'm pretty sure you can toggle between light and dark later if you should so desire. And this is what the Sword of Darkness looks like, which we're about to get. And I mean, I think it's pretty sick. If I'm ever given the choice, I always want to be evil, not good. So this is the sword for me. So let's jump in to explaining exactly how you get it. To start with, we need to go to Castle Front, and you're going to ride north through the kind of crags here and down this corridor, past all of these trees, and then hopping down past this kind of cliffy area and all of these tombs towards this set of doors. Open the doors up and then enter the Fog Rift Catacombs. Inside, head forwards and then take a left, dodging the enemies as you do so. And in this room, there are platforms with spikes that are going to drop down onto you, so you need to be very careful, as you can see there. The cubbies on the side are going to be how you dodge those, so get yourself in a cubby, you'll see it slam down, and then you can just sprint all the way out of that room, and then you need to just follow the path through and down, dodging the fireball here, and then keeping going down and being wary again of the next set of platform spikes. They'll slam down. You don't need to do what I'm doing here. You don't need to get knocked on top. That was just an accident. But basically, as soon as they've slammed, you can drop into the room and then immediately do a 180 and get yourself to safety, hopefully more successfully than I did, in the archway underneath. Then wait for it to fall again, and you're going to need to be pretty close to the edge in order for it to kind of proc and actually trigger. And as soon as it has triggered, run across the room, grabbing the item, I guess, as you go, and then keep heading down. There'll be a lift, take it down. There'll be a doorway, go through, run it down, taking the left there, and then this room is another spike room. So you're going to run to the little cubby on the left-hand side straight away. You'll see the spikes slam. You can start running again, and you're going to want to probably just go in all the cubbies you can here to get across. You can skip some, but you can also take a bunch of damage by doing that if you're unlucky. So just be careful. There's no harm in being a bit patient here. And then get onto the top of the platform here and take out all the enemies, just because it's just going to be annoying having them alive. You then need to get close enough to the edge that the spikes will slam down, and you'll see that there's actually a door which you can climb into, or you can miss, like I did the first time I tried this. Second time's the charm though. Hop inside when you get the opportunity, and you'll then be able to hop out at the top and grab this chest. Then, when the spike platform drops back down, you can actually get on top of it, run all the way across and to the right-hand side, and then when you hop off, you'll see another altar. Raise the Sword of Light to the dark here, and you'll now have the Sword of Darkness.